What's up, everybody? So today this is gonna be my first video on, I guess, just the application and like a very simple design. I'm kind of just testing out the angles of how I want my camera. Like, should I have it from the top or should I have it from like a side view? I don't know. You guys tell me how you usually like to watch your nail videos. I never really paid attention when I watched them. But yeah, so I guess I'm just gonna kind of explain like how I usually do my sets. Um, so you can see I usually start from like the free edge of the nail, aka zone 2, is where I usually like to place my first bead. I feel like it just helps build up the structure of the nail, and then also like because I usually pick up fairly large beads of acrylic, so starting any lower the nail would probably look like way too thick. And I actually am gonna speed it up in a second. I'm not gonna have it real time for the whole video, just for like the certain parts that I want you guys to see.
Doubted all that I could do, knowing what I need to do. All I can say, the word is thank you. I think it's what you need to push away from the shore, amongst the waves. Exactly where I wanna be. I am where I wanna be. Remember the start.
Okay, so here you'll notice me kind of playing around with the free edge of the nail, the acrylic nail, or the tip. That's because sometimes I'll have leftover acrylic that I don't want to, I guess, push back up to the nail because it'll make it look a little too thick for my liking. So I'll kind of like play with it until it can either like be pushed off, or sometimes I'll even pull it off if I have to. So yeah, it just depends on if you're satisfied with the way your nail looks or not. You can get rid of any extra at the bottom if you want.
I am who I'm meant to be. I am who I'm meant to be. Over and out again. My future needed clarity, so I could see how you react, how you'd react to me. So much differently. I am different. Every time that I look back, I see my fortune.
Okay, so on the pinky, you've obviously noticed that I've used a minimum of 3 acrylic beads. I usually like to stick to only 2 if I'm doing medium or long sets, just because I feel like it makes my application a lot easier and faster at that too. But sometimes when clients have smaller nail beds, I'll have to do 3 or even more than 3 because I don't want to have to work so hard at 1, keeping the cuticle area neat, 2, making sure the acrylic does not touch the skin of the client, and then 3, also making sure that the application is smooth all at the same time. Like, I don't want to have to focus on all 3 of those things at the same time on a client that has more, I guess, like nail beds that need more attention or more careful work, I guess you would say, because it just makes it a lot harder to use less beads when you have to focus on a lot of things at once. So here again, you see me starting like right at the free edge of the natural nail and working the acrylic bead all the way down to the free edge of the tip When you see me kind of brushing over the acrylic, I'm not actually pressing down. I'm kind of just feathering over the bead to help guide it down the nail. I'm not forcing it down the nail or anything. I'm literally just lightly brushing my acrylic brush over the acrylic to help move it down. And then here you'll see me add a second bead kind of right above where I placed my first one. Um, this is going to kind of help build the structure of the nail. And then again, I'm using more than 2 beads here just because I kind of have to determine if I want to focus on keeping the cuticle area neat and flush, and then also being able to work that second bead down the nail when I'm only using 2. So again, I don't always use 1 or 2. It just depends. I like using 2, but I can't always get that done.
Doubted all that I could do, knowing what I need to do. All I can say, the word is thank you. I think it's what you need to push away from the shore, amongst the waves. Exactly where I wanna be. I am where I wanna be. Remember the start, remember the start. When my future needed clarity. Yes, I needed clarity, so I could see how you'd react.
So here is kind of a good example of how I usually like to get my applications done, because it takes up a lot less time. It just makes everything go by really quickly. I basically just start again right kind of at a little bit above the free edge of the nail I started on this nail. But again, I'm working my acrylic down, lightly feathering it, and then you'll see me, I'm actually going to zoom in for this next part. So I've used 1 bead of acrylic. I'm going to add my second. And when I use 2 beads, I do not place my cuticle bead close to the cuticle. I kind of just placed it right above where I placed my first one, and I kind of maneuver it upwards towards the cuticle, so that way you can avoid like flushing the nail and the cuticle area. I'm sorry, flooding the cuticle area, and then you're also keeping it flush. Because I find that if you place your acrylic too close to the cuticle area, it can make it look a little thick in that spot. And you just want to blend everything together once you have it in the right spot. So then also, I'm just going to take a small bead and kind of close that tiny little gap that you saw that was between the acrylic and the cuticle area. Like, you don't want to have it too far off the cuticle, because then it looks like they've had their nails on already for like a week.
Doubted all that I could do, knowing what I need to do. All I can say, the word is thank you. I think it's what you need to push away from the shore, amongst the waves. Exactly where I wanna be. I am where I wanna be. Remember the start, remember the start. When my future needed clarity. Yes, I needed clarity, so I could see how you'd react. How you'd react to me. So much differently, 'cause I am different to you. Every time that I look back, I see my fortune.
Alright, so for these last 2 nails, you guys can just watch me finish those up really quickly. And for my technique, I guess if you just want to see how I do it, you can just, I guess, kind of watch closely how I'm feathering my beads down the nail or applying them.
I am who I'm meant to be. I am who I'm meant to be. Over and out again. My future needed clarity, so I could see how you react, how you react to me. So much differently. I am different. Every time that I look back, I see my fortune. Would you react to me? We are reacting so much differently.
Alright, so here I'm just kind of gonna fast forward through this design just because it's like really easy, simple line work. I feel like anybody can really do this as long as you have the right brush. So I'm just gonna actually speed this up a little bit faster than the application process. And I'm actually gonna do 2 coats of this, by the way, because the first coat kind of made it look like a hot pink, and that's not what we were going for. So I went ahead and did 2 coats of this.
How you react to me. So much differently. 'Cause I am different to you. Every time that I look back, I see my fortune.
The only tip that I guess I would say is make sure that you're keeping the center of the design, like the inner triangle part, make sure that it's right in the center. Otherwise, it can look a little bit off. Also, I kind of, now that I look back at the video, I see that I might have missed a little bit of the sidewalls, like the red. It honestly didn't look bad in person though, because sometimes the edges fade off in time anyway. But just make sure that you go over that a little bit more than I did here. Alright, you guys, so lastly we added some rhinestones to some of her fingers and then also added the top coat. Please let me know ways that I can improve my videos, and I hope you guys liked my very first video. I'm definitely going to try to do better, and talk to you guys soon.